Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you again for joining us for another conversation as part of our Regional Foxtrotting Horse Foundation series. If you joined me on Monday, you know that I have a cold. I am better today, but I do apologize in advance for that. I will try not to cough too much throughout this discussion, but hopefully I won't have to do too much talking. We have going to have some great conversations around a program called Top Trail. So this is a program that I became familiar with several years ago, and I know a lot of people that are involved with it. It continues to grow. If you're a trail riding enthusiast, this is a must participate program for you. It offers you a lot of options for you and your horse. So I'm excited to share this conversation with you. So to get started here, I thought I'd have our guests do a little introduction of themselves. Not just who you are and where you're from, but a little bit about how you got started with horses initially. So Troy, we'll start with you.
Well, I want to say thanks for doing this, Amber. It's really, really nice of you to invite us on here to talk about this. It's something that's really dear to my heart. So anyway, I'm Troy, and I started Top Trail. I'm gonna say it probably started around 2013 on Facebook. So, but just a little bit about me. I'm a lifelong horse lover. They were I think, they're in my DNA. So I just can't get around it. I've got to have horses. I'm always interested in them. I have two lovely adult children. I'm the mother of two Weimaraners and 4 horses right now. I live in Tennessee in an equestrian neighborhood that's adjacent to Big South Fork and Big South Fork National River and Recreation Area. There's hundreds of miles of trails here, as well as all kinds of other outdoor activities and opportunities. It's really a wonderful place. We moved here from Kansas City, and I think I met you there, Amber. We live pretty close to each other. We didn't know it. But I'm also interested in fitness, and I have a passion for being fit and just health and all that kind of thing, and along with equine advocacy. Those are my two big things. They've always been my thing since I was little, so haven't really changed that much. I actually started with horses in the real world in elementary school. I got a paper route so I could take riding lessons because my parents were not going to pay for it. So I got a paper route. And it wasn't, I was young. So anyway, but I took riding lessons, and then I spent the summers at my uncle's farm. He had Tennessee walking horses, and I would ride and show on the weekends at the 4-H and the local saddle club shows. I did that every summer that I can remember. My uncle actually bought me a horse so that I could do everything with that horse, from halter all the way to barrel racing and jumping all in the same day. So, and then I actually got my first horse when I was 31. That was 31 years ago. And since then I've had 11, and 4 of them are still with me. So their ages 15 to 26. And 2002, I got into competitive distance riding. I was doing NATRAC, AERC, and MOTRA, which is a local competitive trail riding organization. And I was actively competing and involved with MOTRA, at least, in their like I was on the board and stuff like that. Or I wasn't on the board, I was vice president. I can't remember. But anyway, I competed until 2018. And I still have my first competitive horse, and she's the one that's going to be 26 this year. So yeah, that's probably more than you ever wanted to know.
No, not at all. It's great to hear that story. So we'll go to our next guest, Micah. Did I say that right?
Yeah. My first name is Michaelin. The worst I've had is my colon. So, I decided to simplify it and just go by Micah. So, I actually had a horse as a young kid. I grew up in the Sierra Nevada mountains of California. I was kicked, bit, thrown, stepped on, fell off. I loved every minute of it. So I decided to pick it back up as an adult. I also go back into horses when I was about 31. Got a horse, got 2 horses, got 4 horses. I now have 12 horses. So it's kind of a thing now. I actually, in getting into horses, started finding that I was losing access to trails. In Colorado riding, I made a goal to ride 100 different trails in Colorado. And some trailheads wouldn't have horse trailer parking and all these other things. So it all kind of compounded into this, hey, how do we make sure equestrians continue to have access to trails? And so it kind of became my mission now, my personal mission is to help keep equestrians on trails. So if I had to describe like who I was and what I'm doing, that would be the defining thing. Some of the ways I'm doing this, I have another website called Top Horse Trails. It's a directory of horse trails and camps. Of course, this project with Top Trail that we're talking about today. And then I'm also building out a horse adventure park and horse camp on my ranch in New Mexico. So all various projects. I'm basically taking my skill set from my career in technology, design, online marketing, and just coupling everything into this effort. So yeah.
Well, that's a really important passion for a lot of people. And thank you for doing that, because without the access to the horse trails, a lot of people don't have any other place to ride. So, and I'm definitely going to want information on your horse camp at some point.
Yeah, it'll be a couple years. We're getting there.
All right, so I thought we'd start by talking a little bit about the history of Top Trail and how it started. A part of our mission here at the foundation is we provide seed money to get events or things started within the equine community. And so I think it's important for people to know how someone takes an idea and they turn it into something that's sustainable. And Troy, you did that with Top Trail. So I'm kind of interested to know how the idea for Top Trail started and then how you went about sort of getting it underway.
Well, I was involved in not only Motra, but an AERC, and I wasn't, well, anyway, I was in a local saddle club as an adult, and they didn't really have trail, they were all horse show people. So they wanted to incorporate more trail riding. And so I was like, yeah, I'll help with that. And so I was in charge of their trail riding program for a couple of years. And I thought it would be fun to promote trail riding by saying, hey, you go out and ride, you keep track of your miles. And I don't care how you do it, just write it down. And, and like at the end of every month, give me your miles. And so, and I went all out, and I contacted companies, and I got sponsors. I got these great prizes and stuff. And at the end of the year at the banquet, the horse show people, they got their awards, and the trail riders got their awards. So it was a lot of fun. And then the second year that we did it, somebody came up at the like at the last when I was tallying everything, she was like, oh yeah, I was trail riding all year. Here's my miles. And we had been keeping track, and everybody kind of knew where they were, and I couldn't say no, but I thought I was a little disappointed. She won all the prizes, and I thought there's got to be a better way. And so that kind of got me thinking. And when I was doing competitive trail riding, one of my mentors told me, you need to decide, do you want this to be about winning, or do you want it to be about the miles? And I decided I wanted to be about the miles. So I'm all about the miles. And then there was the other thing that, you could go, Motra, which was the association that I was with locally, they would give you credit for sanctioned rides, whether they were AERC rides or NATRAC rides or one of their rides, and you could submit all your miles for those, and then you would get mileage awards as long as you were a member every year. You know, you would just keep building. And I thought, well, but those were only competitive miles. We're putting on a lot of miles just in conditioning and for fun. You know, why can't we keep track of all those too? You know, maybe I rode a whole bunch of miles and then I went to a competition and I didn't finish and I don't get those miles. You know, so this was my thinking. So it was all churning in my head, and I came up with this program. And I invited my friends to join me, and we formed a little group on Facebook. And that was in 2013. And so they were using GPSs at that time. By that time, GPSs were a thing. And people had Garmin's and they had this and that. And I said, I don't care what you use. Just give me your miles. And I kept track of everything on a spreadsheet on Excel until I was about to lose my mind, you know, but it was so much fun, and people kept joining, you know, so I was like, well, I don't want to tell people no, but I can't keep doing this. So I ran into the owner of Open Trail, and he had just started this website, and I was telling him my dilemma and my woes, and he said, I can program that for you. So that's where I started.
And were you surprised? So Top Trail, then that was in 2013 with the Facebook page, and then 2014, right, is when Top Trail kicked off. So were you surprised at the interest when you put it out there?
Well, the people who were doing it on the website or on Facebook, they came over and they started doing it. And really, I started the Top Trail group, which is still alive and well and kicking. And I often wonder if we could go back to the beginning of that. But that was a long time ago. But you know, it was kind of slow in the beginning because I think it was a little before its time, because not everybody was using a GPS and not everybody cared about their miles. And so for the first couple, you know, years, it was kind of slow. But I just told people, you know, if you like it, tell your friends. And that's how it grew, was by word of mouth. I didn't have a budget. I tried some ads, you know, but I didn't really have a budget for advertising, and it was just all word of mouth, and that's how it grew. And then once people started doing it, and they were invested in their miles, and they just kept renewing. So and now the technology is better, and that's one thing I really like about having Michaelyn in charge now, is that she has technology on her side. I did not. I was always struggling with it, trying to get someone to take what was in my head and put it on the program. You know, I struggled with that, and I'm proud of the where we got it to, but it was definitely ready to move on.
So talk to me about it, what it looks like today. So you talked about having someone on board that has that technology background. Is there a lot of tech behind it, or how does that work?
Yeah, so I actually, in my profession work, I run 4 different companies, and I actually have a contracted website development team who works with me across these different companies. And so, yeah, so some of the upgrades made were from, you know, we had issues when I took over in July that the servers were crashing or people were loading files and having issues. And so immediately our first step we took was upgrading the servers. And you know, that was a very painful 30 days of migrating databases and files. You know, for as long as Troy had been running it, there was that much data that needed to be transferred to make sure that we maintain the integrity of everybody's lifetime mileage and all of that. So yeah, so I actually have a whole team that works behind me, helping to support this. And it's starting to get to the point that it is becoming much more technologically advanced. And it's good. It'll help the program. I think it'll be great. So
So if someone is not familiar with Top Trail, we talked about that you ride and you upload your miles, but describe to me what Top Trail is, because there's more than just your yearly miles, right?
yeah, I think there's two different phases. So Troy has been carrying this for, a decade. So Troy, if you want to speak to like what it is, and then also I'll chime in on what we're becoming.
Well, originally it was just kind of a competition thing. Well, it was always two things, but we really emphasized the competition side of it more in the beginning, and then maybe a little bit later I really started to focus more on the mileage, the lifetime mileage. So it's a competitive thing, and it's a thing just for you, and your horse. And the competitive side has evolved a lot. We used to do it monthly. We used to have monthly equine, and I think maybe I can't remember if it was just based on the horse. I think it was just based on the horse. And then and now I don't even remember. It's a horse. It's the horses. Now it's just based on the rider, isn't it? The horse
It's both. Yeah,
is
it's
both.
both. Yeah.
Yeah, but now, I mean, there's the competitive side, and then there's the mileage side. So I have forgotten.
It's been 6 months and she's like,
It has, and I haven't even ridden. I've ridden 4 times, so
oh my
You
gosh.
truly turned it over, right?
I did. Well, I'm telling you, it was hard in the beginning. It was hard, but
You broke your wrist
I
too,
did that forced
right
me.
in the middle of it.
It was like Michaelin took it over, and I went to go, and I was like, okay, I can ride now. And yeah, my husband and I went for a ride, and it was a great ride. And I went out there to check my horses, and somebody got into a scuffle and knocked me down. I broke my wrist. So I've been recovering from that ever since. And but that's no excuse. I should remember the program I had, but no, there's the competitive side, and then there's the lifetime mileage side, and the yearly mileage side. And I like both of them. I probably myself, I like, because I'm a miles person, like the lifetime and the annual mile part of it the most. So
And there's
Yeah.
different levels, right?
yeah, there are. Yeah, we've kind of changed that up over the years, and to try to make sure that there were a couple of years where like one person was winning everything. And I said, that's great, but that kind of discourages everybody else. So we've kind of tweaked it over the years to where we made divisions. It was 3 divisions, and then it was 5 divisions. And I don't know how many divisions Michaelin has now, but I tried to make it so that everybody has a chance, but if you don't ride, obviously you're not going to win. So
Yeah, and I think that's as the program grows too, like Troy grew this so much that the diversity of riders also changes year to year. And so it's also taking into consideration as the membership grows and changes, also adapting the program, just to make it fun and engaging for everybody. So
yeah.
So since I'm a Foxtrotter person, I will give a little shout out that the MFTHBA does have its own group that does yearly mileage. And there's other groups like that as well that do yearly mileage awards through Top Trail.
Yes, and MFTHBA, I think, was my very first affiliate group. Yeah, and I think, and NATRAC has been a group for, I mean, the official NATRAC, we had kind of an unofficial NATRAC group for a couple of years, just a bunch of NATRAC writers wanted to pit themselves against each other this way. And then last year, the association, the actual NATRAC association wanted to have their virtual challenge on Top Trail. So that was a great honor too. And there's some other
The Michigan Horse Council.
Michigan Horse Council. They do a pretty big deal. It's a little more of an abbreviated period of time each year that they do that because they have a short riding season. But and there's some social groups too, and people really like those groups.
Yeah, and I actually have four other affiliate groups I'm in talks with now to be
Oh,
joining.
cool.
So we might have, yeah, so we might be expanding that.
That's great. I was hoping you would.
Getting there.
Mhm.
All right, so talk to me about how someone gets started with Top Trail.
Yeah, so it's we've been trying to simplify things on the website. Sign up process is fairly standard. There is a join now button at the top of the screen. If you go to toptrailhorse.com in the upper right, there's going to be a button you can click on for sign up. You can fill out your profile information, join. Everybody can join for free, but it's limited information. Once you are in there, you can add on a membership, and that will get you access to everything. So.
Sounds good.
Got to unmute. I'm going to share my screen quick so people can see it. And if there's certain things that you want to show them, let me know.
Yep, so up there in the upper corner, you can see that sign up or log in is where members can log in, or if you want to join, you can hit that button there and then just follow. Yeah, and then just follow the prompts to go through the sign up process. So you fill out your profile information first and to create your account. And then once you have your account created, you can access the sign up pages to start up. We did adjust pricing a little bit. We actually lowered the price. I wanted to make it financially just a bit more friendly financially for people to join. And then you can also add on NATREC charges an additional fee if you want to be part of the NATREC program. So you can actually add those on to your membership once you sign up.
All right, so what else is up here? So what are leaderboards?
So leaderboards are the real time, as people upload rides, you can actually see where people rank depending on division, overall, rider, horse, and see how you're doing, how other people are doing in regards to, and this gets into more of that competitor side of things. So with Top Trail, I see it both as a personal motivation to be better than you did last year or last month. You know, riding better than you did. You can also get into that more competitive in terms of community and compare yourself to others, like how are other people riding, you know. And I've been having discussions on the Facebook group with the members and talking about other ways, like some people have requested by state, regions, things like that. So we're also exploring other options for these leaderboards that people can see how they're doing.
So these are the divisions you guys talked about, right? So there's Greenhorn, Pleasure, Blazer, Explorer, Competitor, and Legends. And that based on your lifetime miles?
So this is based on your annual miles are the divisions. And
Okay.
so based on how many miles you ride will determine which division you are in. In 2023, we're going to be moving to a sliding scale. So it'll be based on actual miles ridden for that year. So if you ride more miles, you'll keep getting bumped up in divisions.
That's impressive. Already ridden 344 miles.
Right? And it's
Yeah.
February.
And she lives in Montana.
She's in Montana.
Crazy. So let's see what else. So you also do rider?
Yeah,
things?
so you can see overall. So instead of breaking it down into divisions, this is overall, all the riders. You can see where you are in an overall rank versus a division rank.
Okay.
And of course, your horse. So recognition for all of the, I can't just say horses because there's also mules. See, you can see Bo there.
Holy cow.
Um, so yes, those are lifetime miles. So, where these equines rank in terms of mileage per equine.
How long has Bo been at this? 16,000 miles. Wow.
Forever. Since before Top Trail, right?
Yeah, a couple of years before. Yeah,
I recognize some names on here.
yeah. Robin lives down the road from me.
Yeah. All right. So what else do we have up here? So this, I assume once you join, there's things here. For you, and
So
then,
once you log in, you can access your ride logs, see all of your past rides. I have, some members use it to track where they've ridden. They can add horses, keep track of each horse's mileage. So if they have multiple horses, see how each horse is doing in terms of mileage. So that's where that My Top Trail navigation will take you. And then just to make it easy, there's an all activity, which is you can see what everybody else is doing in that feed. If you're logged in, it'll load.
okay.
You can see your rides. You can also add a ride. So there are multiple ways to add a ride. We do have a partnership with Easy Trails app. So you can track rides in Easy Trails and directly load them from Easy Trails to Top Trail. Or if you want to use a different device or a different app, it's totally fine. You just have to be able to export a GPX file and upload it via that ad ride.
So that is actually a question I had before this of what tracking app you guys recommended. So it sounds like Easy Trails would be the easiest one to use.
Easy Trails is the easiest one. Some people have issues with it. We find, at least I've been seeing, that some people have different devices interact differently with it. Apple, I guess, sometimes has issues with it. So that's where it's the flexibility of being able to choose which app and even which device you use to track your rides. So it's up to each user.
So they, as long as they can export their ride, and what kind of file was that again?
GPX.
Okay. Is that pretty common for most? I don't know.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
I'm
So a
not the technical
GPX.
person.
Yeah, so a GPX file is actually a very simple file. You can open it in Notepad if you want to see the code of a GPX. It's basically just a bunch of time date stamps with latitude, longitude, and also sometimes elevation. So then when you load your GPX file, you can load a GPX file to many different things. You can even put them in Google Maps. You can load them into other trail applications such as AllTrails, see your routes. It's a fairly common file type for any type of geospatial tracking device.
All right. So what is the thing that people find most challenging?
Probably GPX files. From all the tech support requests I get, most people either have challenges finding if the device or app they use downloads a GPX file. And then if it's not in Easy Trails, they have to manually, download it somewhere and then re-upload it up to Top Trail. And so that seems to be the most difficult or most common pain point. It's something we are looking into and hoping to address in the next year or so, of either building our own GPS tracking app to incorporate with Top Trail, or either buying a company or building our own tracking app that people could use if they wanted to, that would simplify it. So then they wouldn't even be doing file transfers. They would just record their ride, stop recording their ride, and be done. So
That sounds very exciting, but very complicated.
yes.
For Michaelin, not for the writer.
Yeah,
Right.
Yes,
My job is to make everything as easy as possible for the writers. So
I meant more on the development side, not the writer side.
yeah.
So are there other changes coming up to Top Trail?
Yes, so in 2023, I actually put out to the group, and it's still like in comment period, proposed changes. So in taking over managing Top Trail is I wanted to find out some of the pain points that the members were having, and then also ideas that they had. A lot of them have been participating for years and thought, gosh, it would be great if, this, or this. And so I opened up comment period. I've been having discussions with people about ways that the program could change. Again, also addressing the fact that we have a very diverse membership, and as it continues to grow, it continues to get more and more diverse. And how do we embrace all of the different types of riders? Some riders aren't able to do high mileage, but still want to be involved for that motivation to keep riding. And how do we support them? And so that's where a lot of the 2023 proposed changes come into play is how do we support those riders, right? So my mission is to get more riders out on trails. So helping them, inspire them to get out and ride more, helping, keep riding riders on trails and all of that. And so some of the changes are more, I would say inclusive. It would be the best way to sum those up.
So a couple other questions I thought of while you're talking. So lifetime horse. So you have a horse and you're riding it and you sell it. Can you transfer those miles, stay with the horse if someone wants to join Top Trail? How does that work?
Um, I'm not sure about that, but if not, we could build it in.
We have done that. In the past. We've done it.
Nothing's impossible. So somebody just needs to say, I need this, and then we can add it in.
And that may not be something that happens very often. I was just thinking about people, riding a horse and then all of a sudden, especially a young horse or
It would be a good program to prove that your green horse has so many miles on it.
yeah, that's what I was thinking about that. And so I was thinking about how that sort of worked if those miles stayed. What other common questions do you guys get about Top Trail that we could address here tonight?
Editing. So a lot of people forget to turn off their track when they're recording their track and drive home. In auditing, when I was doing the annual audit, you could see where they went and rode a loop, and then if you turned on Google Maps, you could actually see them like driving down the road and they got in the turn lane and went home, and so it's like people will forget to turn off their tracking. And so in the program, we actually audit and exclude those miles for the whole ride because there's no way to you know go back and edit every single person's file who ever forgot to turn off their tracker. So this has been a big topic of conversation, and probably the majority of support requests that I get are for people asking for help. There are a lot of free tools out there that people can go in and edit. I know Troy used to help with editing. That was something that changed with me, was more because of volume of people requiring help on those trails. Was you know I would I've been putting out links to tools that they can use, free apps and stuff that they can use to edit those, since it seems to be a very common thing.
So a big tip is don't forget to turn off your GPS.
Right. I'm actually working on in welcome packets. I'm rebuilding the welcome packets, and one of the things is a tag you can actually put on your reins or on your saddle that says start and stop your tracker. So it's like a little reminder, and and I'm going to send everybody will get a couple of them so you can put them everywhere to remind you.
So what type of rides, you talked about the auditing, what type of rides count? Is it just stuff that you're out on the trail, or can you ride down a road? Can you ride in an arena? What counts for miles?
Yeah, so it's kind of a transition phase because when Troy was running it, it was mostly all trail riding, and then COVID happened, and everybody was stuck riding around their neighborhoods and in arenas and everything. So Troy shifted again. This is just adapting to circumstances, right? So shifted the rules to include arenas. Well, what happened is a whole bunch of arena people joined because they could track their arena miles, and that's also that embracing the diversity of the ridership. So how do we continue to include people who ride in arenas, and still, compare apples to apples. And so that's where 2023 changes are going to be around separating different divisions for different types of riding. So there's going to be trail riding divisions, there's going to be competitive riding divisions, people who pay to ride. And then we also have quite a number of horse trainers that ride, 20 different horses, and put in a ton of miles. I don't want to exclude them. They should be recognized too for the work and effort that they put in. They're out there, they're riding. So that's also where we're going to be creating a professionals division for people who are paid to ride. And so that's where some of the changes are coming into play.
So something I think is amazing about this, and I was gonna have you address this a little bit, Troy, is how this program has evolved. I mean, a lot of the things you've talked about is, okay, we started it and we were doing this, and then we heard this, and so then we changed, or COVID happened, and then we changed. Did you always expect to do that, or was that just something that presented itself and so you did, or kind of that mindset of coming in and starting a program and needing to evolve over time?
I- Well, I didn't want to be, I didn't want the program just to be for me. I wanted it to be for everybody, or at least as many people as I could accommodate, So I did a lot of surveys, and of course, I made a lot of friends with the people that were members, and so they felt comfortable just telling me what they wanted, So I tried to incorporate things in and just evolve the program as I could, based on what everybody was asking for. So
So if someone was gonna start something, what lessons did you learn through that process that you would tell them to think about as they go through that development process?
well, I think the main thing is customer service. That was really huge with me, and to make it and to be as personable as possible. Because I felt like they're they're doing this program. It's for them. It's not for me, So I want to make my customer happy. So that's pretty much how I did it. And I didn't know much about customer service, to be honest with you, until I did Top Trail. All my other jobs were like in HR, and I was just in my cubicle doing my little thing, and nobody was really messing with me. But I did want to make customer service my focus on this, and I did it the best I could. So I'd say that would be the number one thing, to make sure your customers are satisfied.
Well, it sounds like you did a great job because the program's just continued to grow.
Thank you.
So is it available to anyone in the world, just United States, Canada?
It was worldwide.
Yeah, it actually, there's six, four, 5 or 6, I don't know, I forgot the count. There's a couple international writers, even continuing into 2023, and I've had several people reach out that they want to start promoting it in their countries, and growing it. So that's something to consider too as we adapt the program, is how do we embrace this global presence and support writers around the world.
One of your dogs is in the background, Troy.
Yeah.
That what used to be my love seat.
Oh, yeah. They do not seem very interested in our conversation there. Rough day. All right, what other common questions do you guys get about Top Trail?
Mostly devices. Yeah, is usually, you'll see in the Facebook forum, one of the most common questions to ask is what device do you use? What app do you use? Those are probably the biggest out of everything.
Okay. So you mentioned the Facebook group. Is that something a good place for people to go to learn about Top Trail?
Yeah. Talk about the most inviting, supportive, friendly horse group out there. That Facebook group is amazing. And super supportive. Every time people post photos of their rides, other people chime in and they're like, wow, great rides. Your horse is so cute, you know. So just a really embracing uh, group of horse riders. So fantastic place. You don't have to be a member to be in it. Um, a lot of people will join the Facebook group and then love the support and being part of that community and then become members. So it is a great introduction if you're not quite ready to sign on, but just want to take a peek. It's a great place to be.
And it's called Top Trail Horse, I think.
I believe so. Facebook groups or facebook.com/groups/top
Yeah,
trail,
Top Trail
top
Horse.
trail horse.
Top
Yeah.
Trail.
Yeah.
I'm a member, but I just couldn't remember if it had the horse on it or not.
Yeah.
All right. Well, very good. Well, I didn't ask at the beginning. So were you in Top Trail before you decided to take this on, or did Troy convince you to take it on and then you got into Top Trail?
So funny, it was one of those like serendipitous moments. I was running my horse trail directory website, tophorsetrails.com. Coincidentally, Top Trail Horse, very similarly named. I was looking for partnerships that I could collaborate with on getting more equestrians out. Um, I was running a horse trail directory. Troy was running a competition site for horse trail riders, and it was just the perfect fit. I reached out to Troy and I said, "Hey, I'm on this mission and I'm running this website and I love what you're doing." I kind of like internet stalked her a little bit to see the program and so I reached out to her via Facebook and we just started chatting. I think this was in March
Yeah.
of 2022 and we just talked for like a couple months of back and forth about, hey, what would this look like? And finally she just kind of opened up to me. She's like, hey, I've been doing this a long time, I'm kind of tired. um, she's like, I want to go ride my horse but I'm too busy running this program. She's like, what do you think about just taking it over? And I thought, wow, this fits so well with my mission and what I'm doing. Like, it's a perfect fit. And I had the technological team to support it. So it was kind of right place, right time, right fit, and just came together really quickly and easily.
What was the name of your other site? Top
Top
Trail.
horse, tophorsetrails.com.
We're gonna pull that up too. We might as well just do that. Because I'm sure there's people out there looking for. All right.
Yeah, so that's horse trails, horse camps. We just launched the horse facilities where we're starting to fill in data for public access arenas, indoor arenas, cross country courses, everything. So yeah, so this site, I've been running this just over 2 years, working on this. So I'll have a whole separate team running this site.
So it looks like you can search by state.
Mhm.
Link
We have
that.
about 7,500 trails in there so far. About 3,000 horse camps, and we're starting to build out that facility section.
I'm just gonna.
I always hope when people do demos that like things actually work.
Oh, well, I didn't even tell you we were gonna do this because I didn't know we were gonna do it, but I just thought people might be interested in it. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so we're continually building this out. The beauty with the Top Trail partnership is more around, riders are creating these GPX files of known and scouted horse trails. Like, gosh, what a perfect complement to this site where we can take those known horse trails of course, on public land and publicly accessible, and then load them into this horse trail site. And we're implementing this verified horse trail program that people can see where others have ridden and help find new trails around them.
You can look at trails, and then these are horse camps, right?
Yeah.
Where I can.
And once you're logged in, so there's a free membership and then there's a paid membership. Paid membership is $5 a month. I try to keep things as affordable as possible, but you know, my servers alone run me $300 a month. So it's this very accessible. Like once you get in there, if you look up a camp and you're logged in, you can actually see each camp and nearby horse trails. So then you can determine which camp you want to stay at, how many trails are nearby. It really, once you're logged in, it really opens up all data.
Where are you at on here, Troy?
I'm in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm up, you see where, let me see. I'm below, see where the orange or the yellow is, the 17? I'm about right there. Yeah.
That's all the Big South Fork
Yeah,
trails.
the Big South Fork, there it is.
Yeah.
Well, what an incredible resource this is. Because I hear people all the time looking for places to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Facilities.
Facilities we're still building out. I think I only have like 50 in there.
Oh, wow.
We're gonna be, yeah.
This is really cool. That'll be awesome.
So this is
where arenas are.
So that's all in progress. So we're just starting to get all the data and load it into the database for all the arenas, indoor arenas, obstacle courses, you know, both public land and private, but publicly accessible. So places that you can pay $5 to go use their arena, things like that. So we're going to be adding those all in.
So if someone has a place like this, can they contact you to be added?
Yeah, absolutely. So on the site, there isn't really contact information. A ton of people submit trails, they submit camps, facilities, anything. So on Facebook, it's usually the best way to reach out.
So Top Horse Trails has a Facebook as well?
Yeah.
I think we're starting to have a few internet issues.
Oh.
We didn't tell people when we started where you're at.
In the middle of a storm.
Right. But she's on a beach. So don't feel too bad about
I am. Yeah, you guys are both having thunderstorms, aren't you?
Troy is, yeah.
Yes.
So, well, very good, ladies. Thank you guys so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. It's a little bit short notice when I reached out, and then you guys were like, we need to do it next week, which I'm like, great. So I'm glad it worked out. Encourage everyone to take a look at Top Trail. It's a really cool program. I know a lot of the people we have supported trail rides through our foundation. There's so much interest in trail riding, and it's a great way to document your horse, but also have a little fun with it too. I mean, who doesn't like a little competition, right?
Mm-hmm.
Makes a reason to get out there on those bad, well, especially in the winter here, days to ride, is to help get those miles in. So encourage everyone to do that. And ladies, thank you so very much for doing this. It was a pleasure seeing you again, Troy. It's been a while since you moved out of Kansas City, so we appreciate that. And Micah, I appreciate seeing you and enjoy Belize. Jealous of that. So enjoy that, and hopefully I'll be watching all the changes on Top Trail. Hopefully you get a lot more people continue to be interested in having it grow.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much.
Right.
Thank you.
I will,
both of you.
Yep, I'll stop our live stream.
All right, bye.